So, as a teacher in America right now, like, I'm not okay. Like, I thought about Martin Luther King Jr. this week, and then I turn on the news to see, like, I just can't, like, I can't believe this is, like, 2026. Like, this feels like.
So as you can see at the end, she's comparing America in 2026 to Nazi Germany. Yes, this woman, this liberal woman, is comparing what we're going through in 2026, what Trump is doing in the country, what America is today, is similar to Nazi Germany. I've been noticing this recently with a lot of liberals and progressives and people on the left. They've been comparing their current lives and what's going on in their lives to things that they never ever experienced or even know what those people actually went through. Because if they actually understood what those people do, and I would argue that they actually do because you get taught about it in history class and you can read it up online. Google is free. You're actually doing a disservice and disrespecting those people for what they had to go through. Because to compare America today to Nazi Germany, bro, like, do you not know what those people went through? Like, do you not know what the Nazi army was doing to those people? Like, I don't even think these people are well informed enough. Because if they really were, they truly would not be just throwing this fascist and Nazi term around as if it's like, like just some other word or just some other time in history where nothing significant happened, right? And nothing horrible happened. And also these liberals and these people on the left, right? They don't understand that when they call Trump a fascist, when they call the Trump administration a regime and the Nazi and America's like Nazi land now, they don't understand that they're actually giving Trump supporters more reason to support Trump, right? Because like if it's kind of like a counterproductive thing. You're calling this guy a bad thing, which is a fascist, when you're calling the people who follow him Nazis or whatever the hell you want to call them. You're also calling those people fascists. You're also calling those people a derogatory term. And if in their mind they think that, oh, I'm doing something right, but yes, so this person's calling me a bad name, they're gonna rally behind that person even more. Like, I don't think a lot of liberals and leftists understand this, but that's exactly what happens when you call this guy a fascist, when you call this guy a Nazi. That's exactly what happened. The people have more reason to support him.
Well, that sucks. Everybody's freaked out. Let me see. The car got lost.
Now, I have a feeling that the AI experts are going to come out and say that this is probably a fake video, but you know what's crazy about that? Even if that video is fake, this is 100% something that a liberal will do. I mean, I don't think anybody would actually argue that point. This is 100% something that a liberal would do. If there's anything that I've noticed from these ICE raids and these ICE operations and these immigration removal processes, right? The ERO, right? These liberals, bro, or progressives or people on the left will put themselves and their family and their children in the craziest situations known to mankind just to protest and say that they were there. I mean, I've seen people with their kids there. I've seen a woman with a 6-year-old in the car. We obviously saw what happened to Renee Good. We also saw what happened to Alex Pretty. Incredible. The situations that these people will put themselves in just to be violent and interrupt and impede federal investigations. And this always happens. This is typical with liberals, right? Whenever they go out to protest, right? The emotions are high. These people, they're very, very emotional, right? And eventually they end up making a costly mistake, which is why some of them get harmed and even sometimes, for lack of a better term, like murked. Also, another thing is that what I've noticed with these ICE raids, a lot of these people do not understand what a peaceful protest is. And it's crazy because this is the party, or this is the group of people that call themselves the inclusive party, the people who call themselves the peaceful party. They genuinely do not understand the difference between a protest and obstruction, right? Peaceful protest is the right. I promise you, if you were just there filming these ICE officers, not obstructing and jamming into their cars, we have people literally ramming into ICE agents' vehicles. If you guys were not doing that, they would have no reason to attack you guys or even come up to you guys or, address you guys as law enforcement officers. They would just keep doing their job while you're recording there and just not impeding the investigation. These people genuinely do not understand that there's a line between disagreement and interference. They just can't put that together. And of course, they feel morally justified in extreme behavior, right? They think that my side is right, right? There's nothing that I can do that is wrong. And then 1, 2, 3, something happens or something terrible happens, and then somebody loses their life. And that mindset can lead to self-sabotage, like we've seen many times on these clips with these ICE agents. And this is a question that I've been asking myself lately, ever since I've been, seeing these ICE raids and stuff. And these are questions that these liberals and protesters should probably ask themselves as well. Are people actually thinking, or are they just reacting? Has activism become more of kind of like a performance and a show than to actually solve problems and make impact? And at what point does this actually become counterproductive to what these people are actually trying to achieve? But I guess we'll never know.
You believe that people should have to be United States citizens in order to vote in Arizona's elections.
I'm representing an organization and I'm speaking to this bill. I've shared those sentiments.
Does the organization you're here representing believe that people should have to be United States citizens in order to vote in Arizona's elections?
That's a question that I have to go back for that very specific question to get the response, because I don't know.
Mr. Chair, that's not an answer.
It is not.
My name is Jody Lee. I'm here on behalf of Lucha.
Does Lucha believe that people should have to be citizens of the United States in order to vote in Arizona's elections?
I believe that I don't have an answer from that directly from Lucha. And I think certainly they believe all taxpayers should have access to democracy.
That was quite a word salad. People who are non-citizens who are working in Arizona, whether they're here legally or illegally, pay taxes. Does Lucha believe that non-citizens should be able to vote in Arizona just because they pay taxes?
I don't feel comfortable making a definitive statement on behalf of the organization.
Hi, sorry, Caitlin Contreras with the ACLU.
Is it the position of the ACLU that people should have to be U.S. citizens in order to vote in Arizona's elections?
It is the ACLU's position that voting should be fair and accessible, and
Damn, it seems like I'm gonna have to be the person that says that, you have to be, you should be a United States, or you have to be a United States citizen to vote. Like, the answer is yes. But for these people, the answer is clearly no. They just can't. And this is how you know the answer is no, right? This is how you know that they want to say the answer no. Because if the answer was yes, it would just be like, yes, of course you should be a U.S. citizen. But why should you not be a U.S. citizen, or to vote? Why should you not be a U.S. citizen in order to vote? That they would have just answered the question yes. But because they're protecting their agendas, because they're there on behalf of a company, and I can't speak, I don't feel comfortable giving a response, on behalf of the company. Just tell it, like, I just don't understand, bro. And this is how the Democratic Party get influence, right? And the reason why they do this is because, of course, the illegals are going to vote on their side. Like, the illegal immigrants were let in by the Democratic Party, so of course, if they get the chance to vote, which in some cases I'm pretty sure some of the votes have slipped through, right? And they were checking IDs and stuff like that. They're going to vote Democrat because those are the people who let them in, and those are the people who have open borders or open border policies and give benefits to people who are illegal. But this was painful to watch, man. I mean, it's one thing about just watching these Democrats and liberals like struggle to answer yes or no questions.